Good morning. Welcome back to Mitzi's Kitchen. Today we have some truck driving friends. We have two teams of long haulers here who are very hungry. So we're doing Mitzi's truck stop sausage gravy over biscuits with some scrambled eggs. To get started, let me get my glasses on. I have some pans preheated. We'll start with about 2 tablespoons of butter in each. We're doing this sausage gravy 2 ways, of course, because we do have a vegetarian with us. Most of you won't have to worry about separating everything out like this. Let this melt a little bit. I have pre-browned some sausage here so I won't cross-contaminate. We'll start by putting this in one pan. And we have some sausage crumbles, which is a soy product, totally vegetarian. We'll get into our other pan. Let's get that broken up a little bit. And of course you can just, you don't have to pre-cook your sausage. It is, if you want to drain some of the fat off of it though, then you don't have as fatty of a gravy. So give this a little stir. We have 1 cup of chopped onions that we're going to add. You just want to sweat these, cook them till they're translucent, 2 to 3 minutes over medium heat. A lot of people shy away from gravy, but this is a very simple recipe. You don't get lumps. So anybody can make it. Okay, so we'll let these come up to temperature a little bit. Then we'll be adding a few more ingredients. Our onions have been sweating now for a few minutes, and they look pretty good to me. Just give them a final stir, and we're going to add a few more ingredients to them. Make sure they're not browning or sticking to the bottom of your pan. Let's get the rest of, or not the rest, but some more of our ingredients in. We're going to add a teaspoon of ground garlic to each one. I like to use the ground garlic because that way I'm not taking a chance of burning my garlic, which really is an unpleasant taste if you've ever tried it or ever had to suffer through it, I should say. So mix that in a little bit. We've got a little bit of salt, just a pinch or 2. And about a half teaspoon of ground black pepper. Okay, with that, excuse me, we have 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Get that mixed in a little bit. Then we're going to add our flour right in. This is a 1/4 cup of flour. We don't want a floury taste to this. So once we get this well mixed, we're going to let that cook for just a couple minutes. I'm going to turn the heat down to a medium-low. And it's going to cook away that floury taste. So you have nothing left but the taste of sausage and onion and your seasonings. And this is all you need to thicken your gravy. using this method, you'll find you don't have any lumps whatsoever. Even if you did, they'd be hidden by the lumpy sausage anyway. Okay, let that sit there on a lower heat and cook for 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, we're ready to add a couple more ingredients, or at least one more ingredient. We're going to start on this side, which is our sausage side, with chicken stock. I'm going to put maybe a half cup in here. I've got 1.5 cups total. So we start with about 1.5 cups, bring that back up to temperature. And vegetable stock on this side. About 1/2 cup in this one. Stir this up a little bit, it's going to get real thick. And it will start looking like gravy here any second, although you wouldn't want it this thick. So get that mixed in well. Oops. Good catch, huh? Let's get this one stirred in. Okay, that's incorporating all of that chicken broth I just put in. Now, we're coming up to temperature, so let's add the rest of our stock. Chicken on this side. Vegetable on this side. Get it mixed up real well. It's just going to sit here for a while and do its own thing for, 5-6 minutes. Have a little bit of a boil on it, but not too hot. You want to stir it once or twice in the process. Here we have our vegetarian side. They look a little different. The soy product starts out a little darker than your regular sausage, your pork sausage. So of course it's going to turn out a little bit darker. Okay, we're going to let that sit here for just a few minutes. If you've noticed, I have I've worn this apron before, but it was unadorned. It now has the big M from Mitzi's Kitchen on it. And this was done by a very good friend of mine, Gretchen Lee, who was sitting here at the table in her truck driving hat. She and her husband John are long haul drivers. They drive up and down the West Coast and delivering fine autos to the desert, California desert, to people in Portland, Seattle. They specialize mainly in on the West Coast, but have been known to go as far west, or east as Twin Falls, Idaho. And we have Karen and Guy as our other team. They haul nothing but live chickens to market, and they assure me that almost all of them survived the trip. Believe what you want. Anyway, and Karen's CB handle is Corn Cribbin' Karen, which we just love to call her that behind her back. And she doesn't seem to mind it too much. Let's let this sit here for 5 or 6 minutes. We'll be back right away. Our gravy's been cooking now for 5 or 6 minutes, so we've gotten rid of that flour taste. We're going to finish it off by adding about 2 tablespoons of butter and about 1/2 cup of cream. You can use heavy cream if you'd like. You can use half and half. If you don't care for the extra calories, use milk or anything you want. I wouldn't use skim milk. You want to give it some body, and I think you get more flavor with the cream. That's my preference. So this just has to come up to heat. Turn it up a little bit. Give your vegetarian side a stir. I have tried the vegetarian sausage. I like it just as well, or almost as well as the other. Maybe not quite, but it's really not too bad. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Every truck driver knows that nothing goes with biscuits and gravy like a nice martini. My good friend Juanito here is here to show us what he likes to fix his trucker friends when they get together. Juanito?
Hola, mi amigos. Me llamo Juanito. So here in the Northwest, we've got blackberries in abundance. What better way to use them by infusing them with some good alcohol, enjoying a libation with your friends. So what I've prepared is what I think is a really easy way to utilize what we've got in abundance and put it together, and we've got it for the sake of filming, toned down and pre-made, but we'll show you how it all comes out. Should be really cool. So we're going to make them for one shaker full of quantity for everybody. So we're working through the ingredient quantities, and I'm going to measure these off in shots, and, and keep it all easy. So let me have a sip here to quench my thirst. All right. Put a little ice in there. We'll start with vodka. We have two kinds. Honopolova. You'd think I was having problems. Okay.
You did that just for the camera.
Second is blackberry infused Stolichnaya. So we've got 4 shots of alcohol. This is our puree. I'll get to this in a second. But this is what we've ended up with from regular blackberries. And we're going to do 2 shots of this. So I think if we're keeping count, we've got 6 ounces of liquid so far. The next ingredient would be 2 shots of this blueberry and acai blended juice. And the last thing is basic water. Thin it down a little bit to make it really smooth. Cold water. We didn't have this prepared, and I apologize. Dropped the ball there. 4 shots of water. I've lost tally, so I don't know where we are for total liquid, but we can add 10. Perfect. Thank you. Reminds me of the shaker weight commercial. So, shaken, ready to dispense into our pre-sugared glass. That's what it looks like. To get it that way, we take 1 glass, barely let it kiss your bowl, a little bit of puree around the rim, cover it in sugar, and it's ready. Now this is the straight up or neat option, or a classic martini. Being that we haul many loads over the road, we like a little ice in our drink. So that's the alternate, and we have a third alternate too, to be able to utilize our blackberries, and that's with the champagne version. So as I understand, we have a champagne flute. This one has straight champagne, but 1 shot, 1 ounce of this puree which you know I blow it here. I didn't even talk about the sugar into that, and then fill it up with champagne. So it's an excellent alternate to a vodka drink, if you should prefer. So getting back to how this is created, if you start with a batch of blueberries, we started with 4 cups, blackberries. Puree them in any kind of blender that you have. They're going to be full of seeds. You need to get the seeds out so they get strained through a screen or something like this. A cheesecloth is an option. There are other options as well. And you will end up with a blackberry puree in the bottom that needs to be sweetened. For our 4 cups of blackberries, we ended up with about 1.5 cups of puree, and I think that took about 3/8 of a cup of sugar. So that's how we get to this, and then we just use this as our ingredient. So I think that should wrap it up. I maybe should sample it. Of course, it's excellent. So we'll get these served up for everybody else, and I hope that was entertaining at the least. And this was my first shot. The next one will be better. Adios.
Hi, I'm melting a cup of fresh spinach here, chopped spinach, and 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to add 14 eggs beaten with about 1/2 cup of cream to this spinach mixture. This is to accompany our biscuits and gravy. You don't want to have just biscuits and gravy. You've got to have something else. We're going to let these cook about halfway through, firm up just a little bit, at which point we're going to add about 1/2 cup of our Gruyere cheese, grated Gruyere cheese, and let them finish setting up, and that will be our side dish. Thanks for joining us again. Bye-bye.